And we're live. All right, awesome. So it was, I'm gonna just be honest with you. That was a game that one of those instances where you don't really, it didn't really feel like a win, to be honest with you. It was, it was one of those games where I honestly feel, to be honest, Mississippi Valley had no business being on the field with FAMU today. They had no business being on the field with FAMU today at all. And yeah, the intro music's going to be next and stuff, and then we're going to go further in depth. Unfortunately, the stats aren't up for this game. But as always, you can leave your comments, leave your thoughts in the comment section. I'll get to them. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about what's to come. I'm also going to come back from the intro. I'm going to hit on the couple of games that happened earlier today and that just ended and are ending, and what's to come next week for everybody. Because next week could end up being a pretty interesting weekend. Not just because for FAMU's homecoming, but for a lot of things, but especially homecoming, because homecoming is going to be a pretty interesting game too. It's going to be fun. But yeah, don't go anywhere. The intro's next, so sit tight. If you are on Twitter, though, I want to say this before I roll it. If you are on Twitter, head over to YouTube if you want to leave a comment, because I don't know what's going on with the comment section on Twitter. For some reason, it's acting up. But sit tight. Intro's next. All right, awesome. So, yeah, just a few scores to update y'all on because of games that happened earlier today in the SWAC, and especially makes for an interesting week next week. So, FAMU won, of course. Bethune lost to Jackson State, of course. And then Arkansas Pine Bluff lost to Arkansas, of course. And then you still have here kicking off soon Southern and Prairie View, and also Alcorn and Texas Southern. I think they're in a weather delay or something, or I believe it was. Yeah, lightning in the area. So that'll get started later. But back to this one that happened in Ida Bena today. So honestly, yeah, let's call it what it is. Rashawn McKay did not play a great game today. That's the main thing you could say as far as quarterback goes. He did not play a great game today. I felt as though I kind of expected him to come out and play better and really start to sling it today. But honestly, I think it was one of those instances where it was probably a lot of guys thinking, you know what, let's just go in here and beat the crap out of them. Can't say the other word. Let's go in here and beat the crap out of them and go home for homecoming. Because as I said earlier before the game started, how do you handle this knowing what's next week? Because of the fact that when you left to go to Mississippi, you saw all of these banners and all of these things being set up and everything saying, this is going on this week and this is going on this week. and everything like that. And people are starting to show up that haven't been to Tallahassee in maybe 2 years for what is to be a very, very packed homecoming this year. Like, how do you handle that, even though still going on the road and handling business? And I'm gonna be honest, just I really feel like they just looked ahead. Really feel like they just looked ahead because Mississippi Valley had no business. We got a comment. Got a comment. It was like they were looking ahead. Almost got a call. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yep, because Mississippi Valley had no business hanging on, like even being on the field with them. To be honest, Jamari Shareed also too. He enjoys sticking to the Texas State transfer. Deserves a game ball, and he deserves first dibs on the ice tub when he gets back to Tallahassee because that performance was spectacular. It shouldn't have come to that. Really, you wanted to see the wealth get spread around more. But I mean, if one guy takes over a game like that, then so be it. But I mean, hopefully Xavier Smith is able to come back next week. He will surely be needed in a very critical homecoming game because, for one, it's a lot riding on that game. Why? This is Grambling's first trip to Tallahassee in 28 years. And the last time they came to Tallahassee 28 years ago, they won. It was 39-15 or 39-19. The year was 1993. I know some of you watching this were probably at FAMU when that happened, so you might remember it pretty well. But as far as today goes, I mean, you always want to get a win. Good teams find, as I said last week, good teams find ways to win close games. FAMU is a good team, so that's the same narrative proves true today. But I don't know what it is also about Mississippi Valley. For some odd reason, teams play down to them when they play them for some reason, and that's been a recurrent thing this season. Like, I mean, Bethune-Cookman, I obviously thought would be better, but I mean, the record speaks for themselves. They went in there and they lost. And then you have NC Central, who beat Alcorn, go in there and lose. And then Alcorn plays them. I believe that was Alcorn's homecoming, though. And, oh, no, that wasn't Alcorn's homecoming. Alcorn played them, but Alcorn almost, didn't play that good of a game against them like that. So I'm just like, what is it about Mississippi Valley that teams just can't seem to put it together against these guys? And I think you saw it today. I think when you have a team like that that's been honestly about as bad of a football team for a longer period of time than the Cleveland Browns have been bad, then it's easy to kind of go in there and think to yourself, okay, this is a cakewalk and we should be able to run over them. When honestly, that's not the case. They are trending to try to get out of the SWAC's wine cellar or being a bottom feeder in the SWAC cellar. They really are. And you're seeing it bit by bit. They may not. Wait, hold on. They may not. Bishop and Shareed balled today. Everyone else seemed lethargic. McKay overthrew 2 TDs, Wonder Sanders. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. He overthrew both, to be honest. And then there was an interception he threw on, I guess it was on an up and out, on like a 6-yard out route that I think he just sailed it too long. Or I think honestly, maybe the defensive back just read it very well. And the DB almost ran it back for a pick 6. So I'm just trying to figure out like where was he going with that? Because I mean, the passing game today was not there at all. It was not there at all. Only leading 10-0 seemed inspiring to them and made halftime adjustments. First half dominance evaporated. Yes. Because honestly, I kind of felt like, I was like, you know what, if we can start fast and kind of break their will, then you have a chance to put up 40 points and take them out of it, take the crowd out of it early. And that evidently wasn't the case. Because I mean, it honestly, if you let a team like that hang around, eventually they will start to gain confidence. You have a team like that, you have to put them out of their misery very fast. Because I'm it's kind of like when you put dogs down. When you put a sick dog down, you don't let it linger around too long. You put the dog down right away. I kind of want to bring up the case of Old Yeller, but I guess that's not really relatable. But y'all kind of get the case. But okay is just not it. We need to keep, and I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because I've been I try to be nice about it and say, well, he'll grow. He's continually progressing. Today was not a good day. And when you play quarterback, you don't have there are going to be bad days. Quarterbacks throw interceptions, but honestly, too, when you mention getting a quarterback out of the portal, that's what college football has come to now. Every year, you should at least try to get one quarterback out of the portal. The way it's shaping up now, and honestly, come this off season, there's going to be quarterbacks in the portal. There's going to be some SEC and Big 12 quarterbacks hopping in the portal this year. You can rest assured of that. Because honestly, I believe Tennessee had a guy transfer out that's still sitting in the portal. Hey, there's one name a lot of people aren't talking about in Florida right now, but should be Spencer Rattler. Most likely will be in the portal this offseason. And we should be 5-1. JSU should not have beat us. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree because I mean, look, I look back at the Jackson State game and I say to myself, like, if Junior Muratovich throws that drag route sooner, maybe a split second sooner before those edge rushers get to him, we're singing a different tune, to be honest, because nobody was going to stop Chad Hunter all the way to the end zone. Nobody, because Chad Hunter had a clear route to the end zone off of that drag route. It was so clear. So, I mean, yeah, but I agree with you. And I do agree there needs to be a quarterback to come out of the transfer portal. And I would say, yes, keep an eye. A lot of people say it seems unrealistic, but, never say never. Spencer Rattler is in there. He'll be in there, I think. So 2022, I would not say, Spencer Rattler's not an option. He'll definitely be an option. The only matter is going to go get him is the thing. Do you think Murtovich gets playing time against Graham? That's tough. That's tough. I would say I still think McKay might start, to be honest, because what'll happen most likely is they'll look at the film, and y'all, I think anyone that's ever played football knows how film study goes the next day, whether you played high school or college level football. That'll happen, and then they'll go through the regular game prep and stuff. McKay will get the start, and I think if McKay does not look like himself in that game, then Muratovich will come in at some point. And I also think we'll see Cameron Sapp at some point too, and he'll play. And I think he'll probably play a role in maybe a short yardage down situation where he can run and get an easy first down. Also, there are now 6 games of film on us the last 2 weeks. The screen game has been sniffed at. Yes. Oh, of course. Yeah, you can't keep going to that. You gotta evolve on it. And honestly, too, that little misdirection run that Bishop Bonnet seems to break free for 40 to 80 yards on every time is going to slowly be figured out as well. So you're going to have to learn how to adapt and do more than just misdirections with Bishop Bonnet and Terrell Jennings. So you got to evolve. That's all I can really say. You got to evolve. Film study is critical. But also, too, the other thing that I took away from Willie Simmons' show on Monday nights, he mentioned that Alabama A&M, what they had done, they showed a certain look against other teams all season, but then they switched to an entirely different look just for FAMU. So FAMU had to go in at the half and kind of change things up. So that is an element, and that honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if that's what Mississippi Valley did today. It wouldn't surprise me. We'll find out Monday if that is the case, and then honestly, too, Grambling may do the same thing. They just might. That's the nature of it. Because I mean, at this point in the season, you're looking to your season may be done as far as playing for a playoff bid or a celebration bowl bid, but you can always just come in and play spoiler, and you can rest assured Grambling's going to come in and want to play spoiler next week because honestly, they feel disrespected and they had a bye week to get healthy and look at this and find the weak points in FAMU's offense and in FAMU's defense. This was the year that all the chips moved to the center of the table. We have 27, 28 players who are seniors. Yes. But the beauty of it is, those are your super seniors, like your grad students and stuff. But the beauty of it is, too, is you have guys that were freshmen in the 2020 signing class that did not play, that are still sitting, that will play eventually. So guys that have benefited from basically 2 full off seasons of learning the system and how things work. So you've also got guys like Lucius Lattimore and Tevin Griffey, Ken Griffey Jr.'s son and company, who will eventually grow into those roles, which honestly, I'm kind of surprised that we haven't seen Tevin Griffey play much at DB this season. And also, too, you got to consider Eric Smith and Herman Jackson both were lost this season to injuries, both of your true starting corners. So the beauty of it is those guys still have time left to come back and play. Herman Jackson hopefully has gotten a medical red shirt. I'm assuming he did. So he's probably got an extra year or two still lying around. And then Eric Smith was a freshman in 2019. So, he's got extra time still lying around. So hopefully he's back for 2022 as well. So I know what you mean. But yeah, all the chips were on the table for the taking. You win that Orange Blossom Classic game, we're singing a different tune here. It was literally a game of inches. Heck, if they make a field goal, they win that game. If that one field goal doesn't get blocked, they win that game. And you're sitting pretty at 5-1. Well, really 6-1. But But I mean, honestly, we gotta let this be a lesson too, because I mean, there is another game that will be similar to this, come next month, because they looked ahead to homecoming. They can't look ahead, honestly, to the Florida Classic as well when the time comes for that, because there's a road trip to Arkansas for Arkansas Pine Bluff the week before the Classic. They can't afford to overlook Pine Bluff. So it's up to this coaching staff and the leaders on this team to keep these guys focused. What we got here? The defense was kind of surprising today. They had a couple of lapses in coverage and allowed a few big. Yeah, honestly, I was very surprised. Like I'm just like you. You got two. What? You got a whole secondary full of basically Power 5 DBs like Levy Jenkins and Antoine Collier and Marquise Bell, and you're still getting beat deep by Mississippi Valley of all teams. Like how? I didn't get it because I saw Mississippi Valley burn them for at least three deep balls, which is 3 way too many. 1 way too many, really. That shouldn't have happened. Those should have been either incomplete or interceptions. I don't know. I don't get it. Like that. There must have been a lapse in coverage somewhere. Someone must have missed an assignment. No one probably hit him after he released off the line, which you're supposed to do, which is legal within 5 yards, which is honestly, that's why, I mean, thank you, Mel Blount, for having that rule enforced in the NFL and even in football in general. But I mean, like, no one must have put a hand on him. Did anybody yell out, you have this guy or something? I don't know how this defense works, but we need to be calling Real Mitchell ASAP. Real Mitchell. Oh, okay. I got you. Hey, look, keep an eye on them. Somebody there's 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 so many quarterbacks that are going to be in the transfer portal this year. I mean, the only one I wouldn't touch who probably likely might be in the portal again is the kid who transferred to UCF that everybody wanted that transferred out of Kentucky, but I wouldn't touch you. Transferring 3 times is too much for me, honestly. I wouldn't touch whoever that kid. I wouldn't touch them. But Al Mitchell wouldn't be bad. The quarterback from Temple. Spencer Rattler wouldn't be bad. Honestly, name, image, and likeness in Tallahassee at FAMU for Spencer Rattler would be like that would be huge. It would be right up his alley. Like, what a better place to come to. And then honestly, too, I can tell you now the SWAC is not the Big 12. The game would be slowed down times 1,000 for him, even for Al Mitchell coming from Temple. So why not? But I mean, Coach Black, Willie Simmons, they'll have their options open this off season. They will. They won't tell you about it. They keep everything close knit. But I wouldn't doubt that we see a quarterback come in via the transfer portal at some point during the offseason. It wouldn't surprise me at all. A little competition never hurt anybody. And then why not come to Tallahassee and play with all these weapons? Because, I mean, you still have weapons coming back next season too. Guys are going to grow. So, and then there's guys that are not playing right now either. So, I mean, like, it'll be all right, I think. I still think that this team can win out if they stay focused. You can't have relapses like you saw today. And if you're trying to push for the FCS playoffs, which honestly, that's another thing we need to talk about. The FCS playoffs thought, that is something that honestly, if you're going to get into that and get invited to the dance, you can't play a team like what you played today in a close game like what you had today. You can't beat a team like Mississippi Valley, a team that doesn't even deserve to be on the field with you, 31-28. You can't do that and then expect the points to help you, or the point differential to help you get into the FCS playoffs. It just won't work. So honestly, I will say this. If FAMU does not get into the FCS playoffs this season, revert back to this game in particular, because this was not a good win. It really was not. And then also, too, I mean, the penalties were a little bit better today as far as like unsportsmanlike calls and everything like that. But you can't have undisciplined play either, where you make mental mistakes and you don't do the little things right. Because in the FCS playoffs, everyone got there for a reason, whether they were a top seed like North Dakota State or they worked their way in as an at-large, like, say, Nicole State or Towson or whoever else is out there, like Jacksonville State. Those teams, they don't make little mistakes. So things like what you saw today can't fly. So yeah, the margin of victory needs to improve. And yes, when I say that, I know I'm referencing Brett Bielema, but this was not a sexy win. It just wasn't. But a win is a win. FAMU still stays in prime position to potentially finish in second in the East, maybe second overall in the conference, because I still think that this is one of the top 2 teams in the SWAC right now. And like I said earlier, I think they are going to win out. I think they will if they stay focused. How do we have so many penalties from an experienced team with 20-plus super seniors at almost every level on both? I'll say this. Maybe reading your press clippings too much, getting full of yourself. That's probably it, honestly. I mean, egos, things of that nature. But I mean, look, I was told in the comment section after last week's episode of doing this that they run gassers for every every penalty that they have. So last week they had 11 penalties for 183 yards. They ran 11 gassers. That's the word on the street, and I mean I believe it to an extent. So I mean, how much is that really doing? I'm not sure, but yeah, I don't. My guess is as good as yours. I don't know. It's you would think because it is Game 7, you're going into Game 8. You would think that that would be solved by now. To be honest, and when you're teetering into November football, that those types of things need to subside because right now FAMU does lead the SWAC in penalties, and it has to stop. It really does because when that's constantly happening, you don't like FAMU's chances going to a place like Baton Rouge where the officials will be against you. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I mean, and honestly, at this point in the season, I will say, I mean, based on my experience playing, and mind you, this was not the collegiate level, but in my experience playing at this point in the season, nobody's really going full speed against one another in practice. It's always usually the scout team. So ones are not going against ones in practice at this point in the season, I don't think. So how well is the scout team giving the offense a good look? How good is that look coming in? That's another thing to consider. Is the scout team doing a good job of giving the offense a good look? Is the scout team on offense doing a good job of giving the defense a good look? That's something to consider. I'm sorry, McKay got to go. Yeah, I mean, look, it. See, I'm hoping he bounces back next week. I'm really hoping he does. And when I say bounce back, I mean I'm hoping he doesn't come out overly hyped because it is homecoming and it's his first homecoming getting a start. Yeah, I'm hoping he stays poised and cool, calm, and collected. And honestly, too, don't be intimidated by Grambling and the fact that one of the greatest coaches to ever coach this game walked the sidelines for them. Don't be intimidated by the G on the side of the helmet. So I'm hoping he bounces back. I'm hoping the whole team bounces back next week. But to honestly answer your question, to answer your response, the transfer portal is an option. Someone mentioned it earlier. Al Mitchell, the quarterback from Temple. I've said myself, honestly, based on just name, image, and likeness, Spencer Rattler wouldn't be a bad option to go after either. Big, like I said, the SWAC is different from the Big 12. The speed of the game is slower. I think he would work well in this offense. So there's going to be options in the offseason. That's what I will say. There's going to be options for those of you that think McKay is not the guy. There will be options, and who knows, Murtovich may grow up big time in the offseason. So I mean, there's a lot of pieces that are going to be moving this offseason. We'll see what happens. But anybody else got any more questions? I do not have the stats in front of me, honestly. Unfortunately, I've been looking for them. They have not been updated. If when or if they come in, I'll read them off to you. Oh wow. FAMU was a 17 and a half point favorite today based on Caesar's Sportsbook, which is honestly probably Caesar's Palace. 17 and a half point favorite today and did not cover that. That's yeah. But the beautiful thing of it is it's homecoming next week. Everybody was looking ahead to that. Hopefully the bounce back is better. That's what I'm anticipating. That's what I'm expecting. It's going to be fun. I'm expecting a win. Also, too, this next week I'll be live doing this next week on Thursday. I know some of you saying why Thursday, guys. I'm in grad school. Got to go ahead and do this on Thursday. Friday is going to be a serious traveling day. Getting to Tallahassee, the 3 hour ride. I'm not sure what time I get out of class on Friday, so I'm gonna have to do this on Thursday night, and then travel up there on Friday. I might be live after the game on Saturday, doing this again. Not entirely sure, so y'all bear with me. If I am live after the game, it'll probably be like maybe an hour or 2 or 3 hours after. I put the lack of QB play on the coaches, the fact that we don't have better options. Yeah, yeah, and honestly, I mean, it kind of points back to episode 1 of Why Not Us when you look at that, because when you watch that episode, that Willie Simmons is sitting with I believe his lifelong childhood friend that he's talking to and saying like, this offense this year will be a little bit different. And now that you kind of look at that, you're like, you know what, this offense has been different because what has happened? They've been running the ball more. They have not been passing it as much. And it kind of goes back to what I said a few weeks ago. McKay is a game manager. This far into the season, he is what he is right now. Now he's still growing, but he is what he is. And honestly, Muratovic is too young. He's getting there, but he's not there yet. And I think it will come to Muratovic in time. But I mean, I do feel the same way you do in some aspects. And I think honestly that, oh my gosh, what was that guy's name? Oh my goodness, the quarterback transfer that came in from Kansas State that did not stick. Oh my goodness, what was his name? That's how you know he's been gone for such a long time now. I'm trying to remember his name. Oh my goodness. What was his name? I'm drawing a blank here. I can't believe I forgot his name. But yeah, the Kansas State quarterback transfer that was supposed to be the starter. I think a lot of people kind of had their eggs in that. Yeah, thank you. Yes. John Holcomb. I think a lot of people had their eggs in the basket on John Holcomb. Yep. I think a lot of people had their eggs in the basket on him. And when that didn't work out, it was kind of like, all right, I think we're going to have to be a run-heavy team. Because in some aspects, he wasn't really picking up the offense from what some people say. Some people, everybody's got certain takes of it. He wasn't picking up the offense. He didn't fulfill the duties of what it takes to be a student at FAMU. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. And there was issues here and issues there and stuff. Everybody's got a different story. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, honest. Yes. I remember that as well. Because he. But fell through. It's now South Dakota State in the rank. Yeah. Chris Oladokin was supposed to come to FAMU, and I remember when we had Coach Black on the Run and Gun podcast, he was very high on him as well because they figured he was coming and then he never came. So yeah, I was kind of hoping Chris Oladokin would have came in as well and pushed John Holcomb for the starting spot, and Chris Oladokin would have eventually became the starter. I think the offense would have been flowing perfectly if Chris Oladokin had come. I really did, because I mean, look, I played against him in high school, watched him at USF. USF didn't give him a fair shot, to be honest with you, and he was a pretty legit guy. So, I mean, it's crazy to believe that he got away. I hate that because I know, honestly, he wanted to come. But it makes you wonder. It really does. Like, what would this have been? How many points would this offense really be averaging with a consistent running game like what we have, and with what would have been an explosive passing attack? how many points would this offense really be averaging? It wouldn't be 30 points a game, I could tell you that. It probably would be 45 to 50. That would have been more realistic if you had a quality passer similar to what Ryan Stanley was, but probably better. Because that's what Chris Oladokun would have brought. Because as you said, South Dakota State, they were already ranked before, but Chris Oladokun was just probably really the icing on the cake for them. And they're running with it. I'm not sure of all the elements precisely that went into him not coming to FAMU. Some people say, he didn't fit the HBCU lifestyle or culture and stuff, which, I mean, look, if you could play, it don't matter where you go. If you could play, you could play. I don't care if it's a PWI or an HBCU or D2 or community college. If you can play, you can play. And I'm just going to ride with that because I can guarantee you now, if Arch Manning committed to FAMU tomorrow, I wouldn't care if he fit the HBCU lifestyle or not. If he can ball, he can ball. That's how I view it. So, I mean, it's sad that he couldn't come through and be the quarterback. But hey, hopefully they can land somebody in the portal. But with that, folks, I'm gonna bid you guys adieu. I'm gonna sign off of here. I hope you've enjoyed this. Wish I could have been able to read stats off to you, but whoever's in charge of posting these stats evidently hasn't gotten them in quick enough, unfortunately. I'm looking forward to homecoming next week. Again, this will be live Thursday night. We'll be doing this Thursday night, breaking down what's to come with FAMU and Grambling, talking about players to watch, answering questions and stuff. We enjoy your comments here. Make sure you tune in to the Last Give podcast Tuesday night. We will be Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate it. We appreciate you guys. We really do. But yeah, make sure y'all tune into the Last Give podcast Tuesday night. Make sure you check out Flash and Ace. They got good stuff. As always, if you like what you see, if you like the NBA, NHL, NFL, college football, they'll have it for you. And then as well too, tune into the Run and Gun podcast Wednesday night. So honestly, we got three shows lined up for y'all in 1 week. Last Give podcast Tuesday night, Run and Gun podcast Wednesday night. We're breaking down FAMU and Grambling on Thursday night. 3 straight shows in 1 week. Lord, give me strength. But with that, that's going to do it for me. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you have not already, make sure you follow us on all of our social media platforms. We're on Instagram at Throw Flags. I know that's the oddball out. Penalty Talk, of course, at Penalty Talk on Twitter and Facebook. Like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have an email too, so flagonplaysports@gmail.com. So shoot us an email. We appreciate you guys so much. Bring the same energy Thursday night too. I enjoy this. I enjoy the comments and everything. I really do. But yeah, y'all stay safe. Y'all stay blessed. If you're in Tallahassee, stay safe. If I see you at homecoming next week, say what's up. But yeah, have a happy and blessed week. I'll see you on Thursday night.